Hey everyone, welcome to the Sackhoff Show. I am your host, Katee Sackhoff. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited that you're here. And I'm super excited for today's guest. But before we get there, I want to remind you all to stick around for the Hindsight afterwards, where my producer and I talk about the guest, but we also talk about what's going on in our lives and what conventions or events I have coming up. So you might want to stick around for that. It's super fun. If you have questions or comments, you can send those to the sackhoffshow@gmail.com. We also talk about those in the Hindsight, so hang out for that. Our guest today is someone I love dearly. I first met our guest at Tricia Helfer's house. And how? Because they were on Lucifer together. My guest today is Miss Rachael Harris. I am so excited. If you don't know who Rachael is, she was in Lucifer, Suits. She was in The Hangover and Best in Show. She is a super, super comedic genius of a lady. And I mean, her performance in The Hangover is... I mean, if you don't know her character in The Hangover, I suggest you actually pause this, go watch that, and then come back for this. You don't want to miss it. It's just ridiculous, and I love it so much. So like I said, I met Rachael through Tricia. We've never worked together. And I don't even remember what Tricia had everybody over for, but Rachael had just welcomed her new baby into her life. This was years ago now. I think probably 10 or 15 years ago. Oh my Lord. It's been so long. But it was instant like. I love funny people, and she's just a breath of fresh air with her honesty. And I think you're going to really enjoy this episode if you don't know much about her. We talk about motherhood. We talk about work. We talk about Lucifer. We talk about just a lot of things. And if you guys find yourself in the Indiana area or just feel like taking a trip to Indiana the weekend of March 14th through 16th, I am going to be there doing a live show for the Sackhoff Show. I am super excited. I think I'm dragging Jeph there with me. There's multiple different ticket prices. Just how much you want to participate, I have no idea, but it's going to be fun. It's our first live show with a guest, so I am so excited for this. Go to indianacomic-convention.com for more information about that. So buckle up, you guys. It's a super fun episode. I cannot wait for you to get to know my friend Rachael Harris a little bit better. Enjoy. How old is your son? My son is 5 months old. Yeah.
And your daughter's 2? Okay.
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Okay, so you have 2 kids.
I do. Yeah, I have 2 kids. And I wanted to talk to you about this actually because I feel like, and I don't know if you publicly talk about how you welcomed your children in your life and your journey to become a mother. The first time we met was at Tricia Helfer's house.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Your baby was just born.
Yeah, Henry.
And it is the first one. And that was the first time that I had ever contemplated or heard of or met somebody who had their children via surrogacy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the first time you'd heard of it?
Or well, I'd heard of it, but it
kind of felt like...
I don't know. It felt foreign. I didn't know anything about it other than I knew what surrogacy was. Of course I did. But I think like most people, not that I had judgments, but that I was like, oh, this is how other people welcome children sometimes.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah.
Even though I knew that I couldn't carry my own children. Oh. So I was like, and then I met you and it was like, oh, I could potentially go down this road and be a mom this way.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
How did you find out that you weren't able to carry a child? If you don't mind me
went to the
asking.
doctor. No, I totally fine. I went to the doctor to freeze my eggs. And I had gone to a clinic before, and they had jacked me up on all this medication to do the egg retrieval. And I pulled out before the egg retrieval because I was suicidal.
Whoa.
The medication.
From the medication.
That they put me on and what they did to me, I called Trisha Helfer and I said, I can't be alone right now. Something's going on with me. I feel like a crazy person. I don't know what to do. And she's like, I'll be right there. And so I stopped taking all of the medication.
Yeah.
Went to another doctor who was like, oh my gosh, well, they did not do what they're supposed to do. They didn't do it the right way. The first one I went to was like this, it was like literally like I felt like I was in an egg factory. He really didn't talk to me, just sort of jacked me up on all these hormones and like left me to my own devices. And this new doctor that I found while we were going through the whole discussion about freezing my eggs and doing all of the health checkups and the scans and the checking my heart and checking my everything and checking my ovaries and making sure I was healthy. She literally said to me, did he ever mention that you probably shouldn't carry your own children based on your health history? And I was like, no. And she was like, okay, well, you have all of these issues. And if you had one or two of them, I'd be like, okay, we can work around it. You're still in your mid-30s. But she's like, you have all of them. You've got, you know, a heart thing and a uterus thing and a pituitary thing and you had cancer 10 years ago and like all of these things. And she's like, I don't think that it's going to be in your best interest to try to carry.
It's crazy also that you had cancer and that they put you on all those hormones.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
That
I know, it was crazy. Yeah.
That just seems unwise.
It was very unwise. And so I found a doctor who was incredibly conservative with the amount of hormones that she gave me while I was doing my egg retrievals.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But that's how I found out, was she was like, you shouldn't be carrying your own children anyway.
Well, I realized I wasn't going to be able to carry any children when I was being diagnosed because I had like 12 fibroids.
Oh my God.
That were golf ball size.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? And I didn't understand why I always kind of looked pregnant, you know, like
bloated?
A little bit. Yeah. And then I had that dealt with, but they said, given the fact that they're still there, they're just shrinking. And once you hit menopause, then they will get even smaller. But they cut off the blood supply to them before I hit menopause, just so that they would shrink.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's they went into it's like a pulmonary artery, like oh my gosh, somebody will figure it out. But it's like
somebody will figure it out.
It's like an embolism, like they stop the blood flow. And and so then, and that's when they said, well, and I was of advanced age. I was like 46, 47, 48. And they said, if you carry the child, you have 50% chance of miscarrying. And for 100%, you're going to be on bed rest for 6 months. And I was working on Lucifer at this time when we were going through all of this. And I was like, well, that I can't really do that. That's my income. And doing suits and traveling and everything. So we went ahead and did made eggs, made embryos, and then we're lucky enough to have 2 successful transfers. Like each transfer took with each surrogate. We had 2 different surrogates for each child. And my boys are like, they're like, oh, what was it like when you carried us in your belly? And I'm like, well, like the long story short is I said, well, it's kind of like if you've made these great cookies and you want to bake them in the oven and you realize that your oven isn't working properly, but you want your cookies to be so delicious and be cooked perfectly. So you have to put them in someone else's oven, even though they're your cookies. And that cookie analogy has seemed to work great for them because now they just say, oh no, my mommy's tummy was broken.
Yeah, that's what my daughter says. My daughter says that because we got one surrogacy book for Ginny when we were going through our second journey and read it to her every single night and like how, and basically the book is surrogacy's in the book, but the majority of the book is just about how the right baby finds the right family in a multitude of different ways. And
I want to get that book. I want you to write it down and send it to me. Yeah.
I will. Yeah. Because it is the only book that we found about surrogacy that we thought was really good, actually, and engaging for a young child.
Katie, I think we have a book to write.
We do, because there's no book that explains the whole thing, because we do the same thing too. Like mommy's tummy was broken. And so mommy and daddy made an egg and we had to, an amazing lady let us, borrow her tummy, and she knows her surrogate. She knows our son Granger's surrogate. Like she's been really involved and it was really helpful. And so now she completely understands it. Like she really understands that not all babies, grow in their mommy's tummies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really crazy. But we very similar, two embryos, two different surrogates, and they were both healthy transfers.
Yeah. And 2 years apart.
2.5 years apart. What are your boys?
Our boys are 2 years apart. Like Henry was 2016, and Otto was 2018. And their birthdays, like Henry's birthday is in July 2016, and Otto is August of 2018. So they were like, they're totally 2 years apart. And with COVID and everything, that was crazy.
Because you had a baby right before COVID.
Yeah. Otto was 2, like maybe 1.5 even when COVID hit.
Were you filming during that time?
We took a break when it first hit, and then we went back with all of the, the protocols and stuff, the masks and the double masks and the pods and all of
and
it.
The shields and
and it
the
was
whole thing.
Yeah. It was a crazy time. And I got COVID with both the boys, and my husband and I had separated and we were getting divorced. And so I was with my kids by myself with COVID for 10 days
and they had COVID too.
Otto got it. I think Otto was probably 2 at that time, which was so crazy scary. And Henry was in the house with us the whole time, and he never got it. Like he never tested positive for it.
Yeah, Robin and Ginny got it. She got it when she was like 6 months old, and I took care of them, and I never got it.
Wow.
Yeah, I never got it. But then crazy. I got it the next time they got it. So
yeah, and I've had it. Yeah. I've had it once since then, like recently, like a couple months ago.
Did you talk to a lot of people about your divorce, or did you just, did you wear it before you actually did it? Or
well, this is my second divorce, Katie.
Oh, fun.
I don't want to brag, but yeah, no, I definitely am not a commitment phobe. That's my sweet spot. I like being in committed relationships.
Well, I mean, are you learning things like as you go along? Do you think like the third time will be the charm?
I don't even know. Yes, I'm hoping so. I mean, for me, you've never been divorced or anything?
No, I was in a long relationship for 10 years though, and then left that.
Oh, wow.
Not married though, and no children.
Yeah, that's longer than like both my marriages. I think.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
It was not fun. Are you still friends with your exes?
I am.
Friendly?
Well, my ex-husband with my children, yeah, we talk to each other pretty much every day because we FaceTime with the kids, and, we've really worked hard to make that work. And he has a really wonderful partner that I'm crazy about. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which as
nice.
I talk about her more often to people, they're like, wow, that's really lucky. They're
like, yeah, I would have divorced you too for her.
No, I really do. I really like her. Like, we would be friends. We've already, so we are friends. Like, we laugh, she's very similar sense of humor, and which isn't surprising if you think about my ex-husband's funny and whatever.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, I want to talk about humor actually, because it's something that I find, it's one of the things that I like adore about you, is that you have this ability to feel like the straight man in a project, but be the comic relief. And it is one of the most wonderful skills I've ever witnessed, because you really do, like, your comedy seems so grounded, but you are the funniest person in the room, like at all times, on show and then in real life. Like, you're so funny. So I want to talk about comedy because I find this skill to be so amazing. And were you always funny, or did you realize that there was humor in your seriousness?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, thank you for saying that. That's so nice. That because I like playing that part. I like playing the straight man and reacting, because I think maybe that's what it is that I'm just reacting to what is happening in front of me as honestly as I possibly can. But no, I was dead set on being a very dramatic actor. I mean, like, I did theater in school, and I wanted to do, I've said this so many times, but it's the truth. I wanted to go to New York and do theater and do Chekhov and make people cry and do Night Mother, and just, I came to LA. One of the first plays that I did was a drama at a tiny, the Tamarind Theater that was on Franklin that then became UCB, that now I think is something else, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was hell-bent on that. But when I was in school and I was studying theater, my professor, Ed Vaughn, who I think is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life, and he's really great. I remember saying to him two things, like, I just want to do it right. And he was like, that's part of the problem, is that you keep wanting to do it, quote unquote, right, whatever role you're doing or whatever scene. And he said, you have to make it work for you, whether it's drama, comedy, whatever. And then I remember he said, I think that you are going to work more in comedy. And he said, you are funny. And I was like, I am not.
Like, soul crushing.
I was like,
I am a serious actor.
Which actually is hilarious, for somebody to even have that response, just to be like, no, I am not funny. I am dead serious. And I remember him saying that, and I went to New York and I auditioned for show after show, not even real, like, the only show that I got was a touring company of a children's theater, which, if you've ever done that, is hellacious. And you don't do theater at 8:00 at night when you're doing children's theater. You're going to auditoriums in high schools and churches and multi-purpose rooms, and you're doing it at 10 in the morning.
I was going to say, we take our daughter to the children's theater, and it's at 10 because you need to be done by nap time.
It is soul crushing, but it's not. It's wonderful if that's your calling. But so then when I was in New York, I had an agent that said, I'm moving to Los Angeles to start an agency there, and I think you would work a lot in television and film, and like in commercials and TV in particular. He didn't say film. And I was so broke and so disheartened in New York, because no one was wanting to hire me. And my parents at that point, they lived, I grew up in Ohio, and they were like, please go. You have an uncle in Covina. please go. They just really, please go. So they supported it. So I moved to Los Angeles and did terrible theater and worked in every restaurant in Beverly Hills and sold theater subscriptions because I was like, I'm going to be a serious actress. And
of course.
Theater subscriptions at the Amundsen so I could see all the plays. And then after one time doing a show at the Tamarind, this guy that I was doing the show with said, I'm going to go to the Groundlings and see a show. Do you think you just come and check it out? And I was like, oh, okay. And I went and it blew my mind. And that was the first time that I was like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. Because they sang and they made fun of, they satirized everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I can do that. And that's what really was the thing that changed everything for me, was getting into the Groundlings. So I could still pursue my acting, but it was like, oh, these are, because I was funny and I loved laughing and joking, but I really didn't tap into that until I saw the Groundlings and was like, oh, I can do that. Like that, I can do that. That's what I want to do. So yeah, that's a really long version. And we're out of time now. You're welcome, Katee.
And goodbye. Thank you. That was Rachael Harris. This episode is brought to you by HelloFresh. It's easy to find time to eat well with 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals to choose from each week delivered to your door. Their lineup of prep and bake meals come together with minimal mess and only 5 minutes of prep, so your oven does most of the work, not you. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day who said they eat out all the time because at the end of the night, they cannot figure out what to make for their family and they're so tired and they can't figure out something to make in less than 20 minutes and they're so stressed out about it. So they always just order. And I have to tell you, I completely identify with that. And I used to do that, but not with HelloFresh because all of the ingredients show up at your door. They're very clearly labeled and it's so easy to put together these meals and they are so tasty. Get up to 10 free meals and a free high protein item for life at HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. One item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Just go to HelloFresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. What was it about the Groundlings? Like you said what it was about the Groundlings, but what was it about that style and that compared to what you thought you were that had to shift?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what was fun about it was because they were playing everything dead serious. Like their sketches were, okay, so we just had the Groundlings 50th celebration.
Yeah, because I'd never seen the Groundlings. Everyone talks about the Groundlings. Everyone knows the Groundlings in California. I had no idea what it was until someone told me, and I still have never seen.
You've never seen a show?
Anything? No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Katee, what it is that what I think that when you're in the Groundlings, I think you have to, well, number one, you have to be able to improvise, which I'm better at it when I'm doing it more often. But but my thing that I loved doing there was sketches because I grew up watching SNL. So it's kind of like SNL. But when you're in that company, you also need to improvise Shakespeare, musical theater. Oh, wow. You need to be able to act as if you're in Grey's Anatomy. Like that was back in the day. Like it was like do a scene as if you're in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, no, it's still on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. But it was
20 years later.
It was really hitting. And so the thing for me was that I could do all these styles because I originally wanted to be a musical theater actor.
Right.
That's the other thing. And
do you sing?
And I do, but I can't. That's why I never really did it. Because I was like, I can sing okay, but I don't have that kind of control and range. But I love it. And I love musicals to this day and everything. But you had to not play the funny in the scene. You had to be dead serious. And that's what I connected with was, oh, they're not trying to do the joke. Does that make sense?
Right.
The funny is coming
100%.
out of the situation and the character, but the person that's doing it isn't trying to be funny. I mean, look, I grew up on Mary Tyler Moore, and Betty White was my favorite character on that show.
Betty White's amazing.
Yeah, but it's so funny because like I've always still had that thing where I'm like, I'm a serious actress. I can do drama, and it's been like a fight to get in there and to be like, I can do it. So that's
Do you
ironic.
get hired for dramatic roles? Because what you're most known for is obviously the other side of that, is the comedy side of it.
Right. Like on Suits even, you're right. Like making Sheila Sazs comedic, bringing the funny to very serious stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And then the thing with Lucifer too. I mean, that was great because I got to do some really dramatic things in that too. And that was really fun. You did. But it was more, that was definitely a dramedy. Lucifer.
It was. I mean, it was.
It's the best of both worlds. Like, I loved it because in scenes where I was almost dying, with Leslie Ann Brandt, it was so great, to get to do that. And then also do spit takes with her. Like, that's like the range. Like, I got to spit in her face in a spit take, and then she saved me from dying. Like, I was literally on death's door, and Leslie Ann Brandt comes and like,
were you guys surprised that Lucifer ran as long as it did?
Yes.
And what do you think it was about the show that people loved?
First of all, I think Joe Henderson, our showrunner, or Ildi, I think one of them has a framed photo of when Entertainment Weekly, back when it was, still a magazine.
Alive.
Yeah. They famously wrote about all the pilots. This is before any of them got picked up. And they said the worst review ever. It was, this is the dumbest, like, I think they said, like, this is the dumbest show we've ever seen. No way it'll get picked up. It's insane. Like, that kind of thing. Out of all of these pilots, right? And so then we get picked up. So I was shocked because I was already like, okay, we're not gonna, it's not gonna go.
This is the biggest pile of shit anyone's ever
Entertainment
seen.
Weekly has just said it's the biggest pile of shit, and I'm in it, and I'm trying to be funny in
your
it.
Entire show.
Yeah. And then, and then we get picked up, and then we do the 2 seasons at Fox, and then they cancel us, and then the fans go crazy, and Netflix picks this up, and then it goes crazy on Netflix. So no, every season it was such a gift. And I think by the time we had 2 seasons in at Netflix, we were really feeling like, okay, we've had 4 seasons now. This is feeling like we could maybe have a couple more. And we did. We had 2 more seasons. But
you guys did 6?
Yeah. I think. I'm like, I think it was 6.
This is just going to be an entire episode of us going.
It's going to be the question mark episode.
Possibly. I don't know. We're going to have to we do a hindsight at the end. Jeph and I are just going to be fact checking the entire fucking thing. That's exactly what it's going to be.
That's it.
Were you filming Suits at the same time?
Yeah. Well, we had luckily grandfathered in Suits because I had done Suits before we started Lucifer. And so then I was allowed to do a few episodes per season of Suits, which was amazing.
Okay.
And then
Suits was huge.
Well, Suits.
And even huger now.
Well, Suits
even
was
huger.
huge then. Well, back when we were shooting it, no, it was not huge, but we knew it was good. Like I knew the material we were doing and the writing that Aaron Korsh and if I say one more writer, I have to say all of them, but that they were doing. And I knew that my scenes with Rick Hoffman, I loved our dynamic. I loved playing that couple so much.
I think I went on a date with Rick.
Oh my gosh. When? See?
When I was like 22 or 3.
I love that we keep boxing ourselves in by trying to figure out dates instead of, oh yeah, I went out on a date with Rick Hoffman when I was younger.
Don't give it context,
We
Katee.
keep trying to like figure out dates and we have mom brains. We both have 2 little kids. And I'm in menopause and you're perimenopausal. So let's just go. Let's just let go of the dates.
We should either let them go or just do the entire thing as a bit, just of dates.
Yes.
Like, I think it was 1968. I remember. But yeah, I
love that you went out on a date. Okay, do you remember anything about the date? Like where you went, what he was like? Obviously, you guys, it really was amazing and you got married. I'm kidding.
Obviously. No, I don't remember anything. I don't even know how we met. And I think we only went out one time. And I think we sort of looked at each other and we were like, yeah, this was really fun, but like bygones. You know what I mean?
Wow. Because you seem like you're right up his alley, but maybe you were.
I was like a chain smoking, foul mouthed 22.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So so you smoked. I've never smoked, but I grew up with smokers, and my dad was always like, and he had lung cancer. He died of lung cancer, basically. Was what happened to him. But he was hardcore, like Katee.
Oh my God.
He started when he was like in his teens, and was smoking like Salem Lights, menthols, which is like smoking glass.
It's like supposedly.
Yeah.
It's like, supposedly.
So
no, I smoked. I was a good smoker.
Okay.
I smoked for like 12 years, 15 years.
Wow. But it's amazing that you quit.
I was hypnotized.
That
worked. Amazing.
Wow. Have you told everybody that's trying to quit smoking to do it?
Everyone.
Wow.
And so this guy named Kerry Gaynor.
Okay.
He's in California. I don't know if he does in-persons anymore. I think he does. But his name is Kerry Gaynor. He has literally saved my life. I went to him as like a final thing. Like I'd been trying to quit smoking for years. I was finally like, my mom used to always say, if you could quit by 30, you're going to be fine. Like just, you got to quit by 30. And like I was 30. And then I was 31 and I was like, oh my God, I have to quit smoking. And I tried to quit all the time. I think I wore the patches for 8 years.
Yeah.
Like I was doing everything in my power.
Yeah.
And so finally, I don't even know how I found Kerry, but I found Kerry Gaynor. He lived right down the street from me. And he always says within, I think it's 6 sessions, you smoke the entire time. And by your last session, you won't want to smoke anymore. And I was like, sure. Like, I'm a pack a day. Are you sure? Okay, cool. By that last session, you're done. Like, I was completely done. Now, you have to be open to it because he is hypnotizing you. And what hypnotizing is, come to find out, because now that I meditate, it's a form of meditation, but someone else is putting you in a meditative state. And basically what he said is, I need to change the perception in your head. Remember when you were a kid and you knew smoking would kill you? As you've aged and as you smoke, you've convinced yourself, not me. I need to put back in your mind that the next cigarette you smoke is going to kill you. Wow. And I never smoked again. That's not true. My dog died and I pushed through.
Okay.
And I smoked for like 4 days. And then I called him and I went back for like one more session and then never smoked again.
Yeah. But that's amazing. But it's interesting because my dad would say to me as he was smoking, he would look at me, he would say, Rachel Elaine, don't you ever do this. It's a filthy habit. And something about him saying it's a filthy habit resonated with me. And he was like, don't, and he was like, do not start ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I won't. But I don't have an addictive personality with substances. My thing is more, I'm listening about Carrie and I'm like, maybe I should go see Carrie over this other thing.
He can do it.
That I'm obsessing about, that I can't let go of.
He can do it. He told me.
Wow.
So the best way that I can explain it is, and and I don't want to poo-poo on AA or anything. Like, so whatever works for you for what you've got going on in your life is an amazing thing. Mm-hmm. But Carrie said, I can hypnotize people to stop drinking. And the crazy thing about it is that I have never white knuckled a day of not smoking. And I smoked for 15 years, a pack a day, like clockwork.
Wow.
And there is no fiber of my being that wants a cigarette, but I love the smell of it. So when other people are smoking around me, I like it in my face.
I like the smell of it.
I will walk by it. I love the smell of it, but I don't want to smoke
fresh
ever.
You know that smell that's horrible. That's like the basement smell where it's like everybody's been drinking and smoking and it's like mixed now. But but also I've liked it when I have boyfriends or like when my husbands would have like a drink and then a cigarette, just like that, and then kissing them. Just like, but like for the freshness of that, which just seems
the immediacy of it,
right? Not like
the
skanky, gnarly breath, but
skanky.
But but you're absolutely right. Yeah. Like it's just like the combo of it isn't bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. But Carrie basically said that why would you want to white knuckle something for the rest of your life when I can just make it go away?
Wow.
And it worked. It literally, I cannot say enough about the man. It was genius.
That's crazy.
I'll send you his number.
Okay.
We'll see if he's still.
So there's two things. I want the surrogacy book and Carrie's information.
We'll remember.
Because I bet he has a good resource if maybe not. I was like, if he's not doing it anymore or something like that. I don't know.
He has DVDs or CDs. So I think you could actually, I don't know where you would get a CD player. Although we did buy a Honda. We have a Honda minivan now, and that fucking thing has a DVD player. It has a CD player in it.
That's amazing.
And it's a brand new car. And I asked them why they hadn't updated anything on the inside of it. And he goes, because if it isn't broken, why fix it? Everyone loves this car. And I was like, oh my God, I love this Honda minivan.
And also, if you, most adults still have all their DVDs from movies and things.
I know.
And CDs. Yeah.
I know. So I now have a car to go 2024 that will play the CDs from 1992.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
That blew my mind. Yeah.
I know. When was it the first time when you were walking down the street and someone was like, hey, you?
Oh.
Do you remember that moment? I don't know why I'm asking. I don't remember anything.
That is amazing. That's amazing. Well, I do remember somebody saying to me the first time I had done a really popular commercial for Expedia.com. That was funny. That was, I'd been in the Groundlings for a few years. I was in the Sunday Company, I think, or I can't remember. And I booked this national commercial. And it was a woman's getting ready to go on a business trip with a guy. And I say, oh, you headed out of town? She's like, yeah, with Larry or something like that. And I'm like, huh, Larry. Or I say something like, huh, have fun or something like that. Like, and the way that I say it is like, oh, fuck. And they and then they cut to him and he's insane. And then she very quickly changes her plan, her flight plans to sit somewhere else or
like Expedia.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember somebody coming up and saying, you're that girl on that commercial. And I want to say that was 19, in the 19s. That was 1990. 8 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it was so exciting to be like, yeah, that's me. And I remember being just so excited to have a commercial. I mean, like
a national commercial.
Yeah. But I auditioned for years before I got a national commercial.
Wow.
Years. And then it was 2000, I think, before, like, I got my first kind of big show was Sister, where I was a recurring role. And that was insane. And then after that,
I loved Sister, by the way.
Sister. Yeah.
I loved it.
I was a 30-year-old playing a 19-year-old.
Stop. Did you look 19 or did they not care?
I was a 5th-year senior in college. So that wasn't really 19. That would have been like early 20s. Still, same diff. I was 30.
Yeah.
I was, yeah, I looked young enough to do that, which was insane. I was like, it's fine. I'll do it. But it was weird being with actual girls that were 18, like 17, 18, and people like that. But it was,
yeah.
But at that time, I was just so excited. I got to work on the Paramount lot, and I think Arsenio Hall was still going on. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we were in that corner studio right there on the corner of Gower and Melrose. And it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It was really insane. So that was fun. And then I got the big thing was Fat Actress, and then after that was Best in Show when I was in the Groundlings. So
Christopher Guest is a genius.
Yeah.
But now that you explain the Groundlings to me, it makes complete sense that you ended up in a Christopher Guest movie.
It was my dream.
Does he have any connection to the Groundlings?
No. What happened was I saw Waiting for Guffman in like on a big screen TV in the Beverly Center. Mm-hmm. And when I saw Waiting for Guffman, I was like, oh, I remember legit praying, because I've been in a 12-step program since 1993. I've been in Al-Anon. But that's just like how I connect, whatever. And I remember praying and saying, if there's one director I ever get to work with in my life, please let it be Christopher Guest. And then I was in the Groundlings. I was in the Sunday show, and we did it. We were in the middle of our Sunday show. We took an intermission, and then people ran into back to the green room, and they were like, you guys, Christopher Guest is here with Eugene Levy and one of their producers. And it was Karen Murphy, who was like their longtime executive producer. And I remember thanking God, Katee, that I had no idea that they were in the audience for the first act.
Oh, I'm sure.
I just remember thinking, oh my God, thank God. And then we did the second act, and it was fine. And then afterward, we left. And then the next day, I got a call from somebody, like we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have caller ID, nothing, you know what I mean? Like, and they said, hey, this is such and such from Dog Show Productions. Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy would love to meet you. Now, back then, we would prank each other in the Groundlings all the time. The big thing was to lie and come in and say, you guys, Steven Spielberg is here, or you guys, like whoever the comedy people are at that time, like Chuck Lorre or whom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're in the audience tonight, and they never were. So we knew that they had been there. And so I thought this was a friend calling me, making fun of it. And I said, fuck off, like to one of my friends. And they said, no, I said, that's funny. And then they said, no, seriously, we're calling from Dog Show Productions, and we got your number from Katee Chambly at the Groundlings Theater. And I thought, oh, well, I've lost the job now. Like, I just was
just told them to go fuck themselves.
Yes. And then they said, we'd like to have you come in for a meeting. So I went in and had a meeting with Chris and Eugene, and I was terrified and sweating and nervous the entire time. And then I remember I left that meeting with them, and I picked up I called my manager on a payphone in the right there at Castle Rock, back when Castle Rock was whatever. And just sobbing, saying, I think I blew it. I don't think I'm going to get that. I don't know. I don't think they like me. But, and then they hired me. But I've come a long way since then. But I was, just so, I wanted that job so bad. And so luckily I got to do a little part, but that was really like another, like the Groundlings has given me everything. Yeah. It gave me a calling card. It gave me legitimacy, and confidence in a way that I didn't have. And that was early on. I was in the Sunday Company when I got Best in Show with my friend Carrie Neustadt.
Did you learn anything from being on set with everyone from Best in Show?
Oh.
I mean...
Well, yeah. I mean, because I got to do Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, a very small part in A Mighty Wind, but still that was amazing because I got to work with Bob Balaban, like be in a scene with him.
Was that the first one, A Mighty Wind?
No, the first one was Best in Show.
Okay.
Then the second one was A Mighty Wind. And then the third one was For Your Consideration. And that, for me, was the most fun that I've been in just because it was about actors.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
It was so gross. Like the stuff that I got to, play opposite Parker Posey and my favorite person in the world, Catherine O'Hara.
Oh my God.
Who I still think she still should have gotten an Oscar for her performance and For Your Consideration. But
yeah.
But I learned a lot. Yes, being on that set. I mean, what I learned from Chris is that Michael Hitchcock is a good friend of mine, and he's been in all of those films. And I remember saying, I just don't know if Chris likes me or if I'm doing the right thing. And he said, Rachel, Chris hires you because he knows you can do the job. He doesn't want you, he's not going to over direct you. So he hired you because he saw you on stage doing what you do. And that was such a lesson. That was a huge lesson to trust what I do and totally do it. So I learned that from Chris.
Have you ever thought about directing?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. But I think right now with my kids being little, that I don't have the bandwidth to make that happen. But my friend Kevin, Kevin, what am I saying? Kevin Alejandro, he's so good. And I love working with him as an actor. But I think it's because I worked with him as I love just being in a scene with him acting wise. Because he's so present and all those things. But he's so good he's such a good director because he does understand the process, like an actor's process.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would love to direct. I mean, that was the greatest thing about like full circle doing the Groundlings was writing your own sketches with people. Like you'd write sketches and then you'd be able to direct it per se. You had a director, but you also, had ownership over your sketch. And I've always found that very satisfying.
Do you have to contend with the fact that a lot of, that you play such fantastically straight, like bitchy characters and that everyone, do you think that people think you're a bitch?
I've told this story before, but when I first met my, the kid's dad, he told his brother that we were dating and he was like, his brother was like, she's so mean. And
you're never going to be able to go do anything.
She's so mean. And he was like, I know, but those are characters that she plays. But there is a place that comes from. I mean, like my family grew up, they were really good at arguing. And it was, the 70s and 80s with kids and parents that weren't raised by, nobody had tools.
There's no gentle parenting.
No, there was no gentle. So I've had to learn to be okay with my anger and and present it in different ways. But I was doing that long before. I was working on all that stuff long before the Hangover and all these other parts. But
you were working on your anger?
Yeah, working on like being okay feeling anger. Like it can come out, and I think that's why also I wanted to become an actor, because I got to feel all these feelings and show them. Because in my house, we didn't, we had lots of secrets and lots of, you shouldn't feel that way. Oh, if you're scared about something, go run around the block. Yeah. It wasn't, hey, what is it? What is it that you're scared of? Oh, of course you're scared of that. Of course that's making you anxious. Me too. This is what we do, and this is how we can work it out, and talk about it as much as you need to. And I'm here. Yeah. Like and that's because that's what they got. That's how they were raised. Yeah. So it's a lot of undoing things. However, I am grateful that I can tap into that, because I do think it's very funny when people, like Winnebago Man is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Have you ever seen Winnebago Man?
No.
You have to Google Winnebago Man and see him on YouTube. And all he's on YouTube. He's trying to do a commercial and he can't get it out. And the more he keeps doing take after take after take after take, and he gets madder and madder and more mad and more mad and more mad and more mad. And I can relate to him.
I can relate to that. I've done that I've done this in scenes before where you just go, I just finally have to say, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go take 10 minutes because I'm going to murder someone.
That's really healthy that you did that. That's really good. That
instead of murdering someone?
Well, yeah. But instead of like breaking down and crying or something like that, like that would have been me in my late 20s. Like I would have just cried because I couldn't get it together. What we do is not easy.
It's not. It's not easy.
If it were easy, everybody would be doing it. Like acting is not.
Yeah. No, my dad apologized to me actually like a year or two ago. And he said, I'm really sorry that I always told you to stop being so sensitive. Because I see now that you have to have the ability to be that sensitive. And it made you who you are. And that's why you're good at what you do. And I was like.
Did you do like an ugly cry? Or were you shocked?
No, we don't show emotion in our family.
Yes, I know. No. I get it.
No.
I get it.
So I think I probably went.
Because it's very scary.
No, cool.
It's very scary.
No, that's cool.
If anybody shows major, like sadness, like something's wrong with them.
Yeah, no, but then I probably came home and I think I told my husband, and that's when I like cried, because like we show emotion in our family, like our immediate family, because I married this sweet little Canadian, I call him a sweet little, I need to stop calling him a sweet little Canadian boy. It's getting offensive now.
You married a Canadian man who's very.
I married a Mountie. He's like really in touch with his feelings, and he talks a lot, and his family talks a lot. And so we have a very, very open relationship, and our kids are open with their emotions, and we tell them to get it out, and like it's good for them and blah, blah, blah. But no, my dad said that to me, and in the back of my mind, I was going, holy fuck. Oh my God. He just said that? Oh my God, that's the most validation I've ever gotten in my entire life from another human being. And I think I went, yeah, no, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. I know.
Because you knew you were taking care of him though too, because it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And you realized this is massive for him. And you don't want to.
No.
I know.
I don't want to make him feel bad.
No, I know. I mean, like
40 years of scarring.
Listen, I can completely relate. I just want you to know I can completely relate. And I got a letter from my mother in the mail after 9/11 one time. I said like one time. No, like I got a letter after 9/11 from my mother saying, I just want to apologize for X, Y, and Z in your childhood. Yeah. And if anything ever happened to you or me and I never said anything, like she wrote a letter. She didn't call me. You know what I mean? It's I'll take
She
it.
wrote she didn't email you.
Oh, no.
She wrote it, put a stamp on it.
Yes.
And sent it. Do you talk?
Well, we did talk. My mom passed away in 2019, right after Henry was born. Yeah. No, we were in a great place.
You were going through the loss of your mother, a divorce, and a baby, 2 babies.
Yes.
And oh my God.
My mother died shortly before, actually 2018, she died before Otto. I love that we're in like date hell. She died before Otto was born. We knew she wasn't going to meet Otto. But my dad passed away before Henry was born. So he never met either of my children. But I feel them. And I talk to them and rely on them now more, which may sound creepy. I don't know. But I don't care. Now than I ever did when they were alive too. Like there's just something that's like, I don't know, there's a grace and there's something, I have a very spiritual connection to them, which I'm really grateful for. I'm not a religious person, but I'm very connected to my higher power and my, and I'm big on signs and big on that. And, so, but getting that letter, just like that's what it reminds me of, that your dad said that to you, like that he really saw you, and the fact that he apologized for telling you to be different.
Is I just saw a friend of mine, an actor, a friend of mine who, we were having this long discussion about, he said, there's not working a lot these days. Not a lot of work for aging, action heroes. And I was like, okay. And he said, I'm getting up there, And I was like, you're only in your 60s, dude. And he was like, yeah, no, but statistically, I have a 1 in 100 chance of dying. What did he say, this year, today? He put it into perspective. And I was like, oh my God, that's really downer. And he said, my dad used to say something to me every time he walked out of the door. And he said, if you got something to say it now. Because you never know if you're going to see me again. And I was like, wow. And he goes, but I say it to my kids every time. I don't, because his kids are 28 and 30, I think now. And he said, every time I hug them, I say, you got something to say it now. Because he's like, I'm at that age where I know, people die of heart attacks in their 60s every day.
Every day, in their 50s.
Yeah. And it's such a great lesson, because it's that thing that we don't always get the ability to say what you need to say.
Yeah.
Good or bad. Yeah. It doesn't have to be get something off your chest. It's just anything. Tell your friends you love them. Call your mom. You know what I mean? But do that thing that your mom wrote you that letter. That's profound in your ability to sort of move through events.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. And then I remember just saying to her, I love you so much. You don't ever have to apologize ever again. I hear you. I love you. And I just want you to let this go. It was it's kind of amazing. It was really amazing.
I think that one of the best lessons I ever sort of absorbed, and it's been like this since even before I had children, and I don't know why, but I've always had the ability to see my parents as people, and that they're doing the best that they can with the skills that they have available to them. People are just doing the best that they can, and I think even more so as a parent, when you see it, it's like, man, I'm just trying to keep them alive. You know what I mean? And be good humans.
And it changes your perspective on, it totally changed my perspective on what my parents did. Because we had 6 kids, 8 people in a technically 2-bedroom house. No, 3-bedroom house.
Wow. That's a lot of people in any house.
1 shower.
Yeah.
2 toilets.
That's a lot of people.
That sounds like a sketch. 1 shower, 2 toilets. No.
I would literally in that house have been like, if you have a penis, you're peeing outside. Like, it's just, those are the rules. That's how we split it down the middle.
We
like,
didn't think anything about it. When I was growing up, we were just like, yeah, this is our house. This is how we do it.
Of course.
We time out our showers, and you get to take the first shower, but don't take all the hot water. And we would come in and be like, don't take the hot water. Crazy. And it was survival. Survival. And my parents.
But it absolutely formed, who you are. And like, it's your ability to see humor in situations is probably stems from, your upbringing.
And I think also survival. Yeah, for sure. Like, even when my dad died, he was in a very small house in Ohio. And my brother, who I think is the funniest person on the planet, and he will say he's not, but he is. He can just give me a look and it ends me. But our dad passed away in our house, in my parents' house in Ohio. My mom was there, but we had taken her out, and they had just called it, and the funeral home was coming to get him. And again, it's a very small town in Ohio, and this large minivan pulls up. Way to bring it around to a minivan. We were expecting a hearse, or I don't know, but we were not expecting a large minivan. And my dad, who's my stepdad,
have you seen those stow and go seats? Makes complete sense to me that it's a minivan.
Total sense. But my stepdad is 6'2", but he raised me since I was 4. So he raised me. This was my dad. Okay. So he passed away, but it was in my mom's room, in their bedroom. And it's a very small house. So the hallways are very narrow and the corners are sharp. And my dad's so tall that it was how are they going to maneuver to get him from out of the bedroom, out of the house? And my brother and I see the two men that walk up from the minivan, the large minivan, which we were already oh no. And then they walk up, but it's a little guy as tall as me, if not shorter, and a very tall guy. And Jack and I started to go right away because we were like, how are they going to get my dad? And my dad was, like I said, almost 6'4", lean, especially at this time he was lean, but he was well,
even just the height differences. How are they going to carry the
I don't know, but they bring in the
gurney?
stretcher and then they realize the stretcher won't go through the corners. And so then they're like, okay, we're just going to have to carry him out. And my brother and I we look at each other, and then we know we should not be laughing, which makes us laugh even harder. And my ex-husband, God love him, he goes in with the two caretakers that are little guy and big guy. And the big guy has the body of my dad, and the little guy has the feet. And it starts to accordion. He starts to accordion. My brother. No. It's amazing. My brother dives in he's stealing second, and he dives in and gets my dad's bottom, his middle area, and pushes up. And I'm standing outside. I see all of this, and I walk through, and my sweet ex-husband at that time, my husband at the time, and he's so sweet. He comes out just bawling, he's bawling. And I look at my brother, we look at Christian, and then we see that he's crying so hard, and we just start cracking up. And it was our form of coping.
Yeah.
Was always laughing in church, always laughing at recitals, whenever. And I used to laugh with my mom in church. She would, it was the greatest. We would just start dying laughing for no reason, just because we knew we shouldn't. But then we'd get my dad out, and it was, I don't know, I think my dad I know my dad was laughing with us. He had left his body and still was like, you idiots. You complete idiots. And laughing, but laughing and being like, oh my gosh. And I'm just glad my mom didn't see it. We moved my mom to the backyard, but it was.
Yeah.
So to make that incredibly long story, laughter was a complete self-defense and survival mechanism, thank God,
Yeah. Are your kids funny?
They are. You said something like when your son says, okay, that's just fine. Or
when my daughter?
Your daughter. Yeah, when your daughter says, what does she say that makes you laugh so hard? Because Henry at 8.
Everything.
He's he's so defiant and he doesn't want to do things. But now that he knows that there's a consequence, that I'll say, okay, that's fine. You don't have to get in the bath right now, but that's going to cut into the more calm I am. And I say, that's going to cut into your TV time. And maybe we won't do dessert tonight. He's like, fine. And he's 8. And it's my favorite thing in the world when he just looks at me and goes, like he's about to protest. And then he just says, fine.
The rationale of an 8-year-old.
Like he's getting
my mom was a teacher, and she said that 3rd grade was her favorite age to teach, and she taught all of them. And she was had her master's in special ed, so she had
Katee.
at times had difficult students.
But lead.
She's amazing. But she said 3rd grade was her favorite because they're old enough to tie their own shoes, but they're young enough to still need you.
And he's in 2nd grade. We held him back a year.
Okay. Is he
because of COVID
birthday?
and everything? It's July 19. So, but also because we knew by that time, before he started like TK in kindergarten, that he was already labeled this or diagnosed as this. But also we know that those diagnoses can fluctuate. Like as they get older, it changes. So it's depends on, sometimes they kind of grow out of things, but they'll whatever. I just really, Katee, you just have to, I should have given you a bell to ring when you're like, stop talking. Stop.
No, it's totally fine. I took my ADHD medication before this, so I wouldn't interrupt. This is what I have to do because my brain goes so fast and I talk so fast.
Oh my gosh.
So I have to, I want to talk to you more about all of this shit off the podcast because I feel like we need much more talkings. But I also ask a question that's a better question than I as an interviewer could ever come up with out of a box from Amazon.
You're selling yourself short.
Of course. Well, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to grab one. It's super random.
Okay,
Let's
great.
see what it's going to say.
I see the randomness, you guys. Okay.
Oh, okay. What is something you no longer care about?
What is something I no longer care about?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if this is going to track. I know the importance of getting dressed up and doing hair and makeup for press and red carpets, right?
Okay.
What I used to care about was that I thought I needed to do everything, right? In order to stay relevant and I feel like I only do what I want to do now and what is for my job. Like, I don't care about it anymore. It's like, oh God, I would rather stay home or sit on the couch with my friend and watch anything from my house. But if like something amazing is happening, I only want to do what I want to do. I no longer care about what I should do.
Right.
Does that make sense? Like that's what I'm trying to do in my life now.
It makes complete sense. I think that you get to a certain point, and I'm paraphrasing obviously or putting us all in one category, but I think you do get to a certain point in life where what it's going to be, it's going to be. And me showing up at an Emmy party and spending a lot of money on an outfit that I'm going to wear one time to pretend like this is going to do anything for my career is not on the table for me anymore.
It's not going to move the needle.
Like I'm too tired.
Yes,
I would rather hang out with my family.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that sound gross?
I think it actually sounds, no, I think it actually sounds like there's, like we've grown up.
Yeah, I think.
And we're just more pragmatic now.
I know, I think it's sanity. I think that's actually sane to say.
I think so too.
I don't need to go and pretend or try to look. But listen, I'm vain. We're all vain. I'm like, but I just know I don't know. I don't have that. I like, look, my friend, I just went to the Women in Film Awards, but that was amazing.
You looked gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. And that was so scary too, to do something totally different from what I've done. But I loved it. Like I love now dressing up and doing things that I never would have done before.
Sorry, my kid just fell on her face.
Oh,
She's
come
fine.
on. Is she okay?
Fine. She's dressed like Wonder Woman. She's fine. She's had her fucking costume on for 6 days straight.
That's such an analogy. She's dressed like Wonder Woman. She's fell on her face and she's fine. Even Wonder Woman falls on her face and she's fine.
It's fine.
But now I think I don't care so much what everybody else thinks. And it's, do I like this? It's not, what's trending? I'm like, no, I want to wear what makes me feel good, what I like. I don't care how many times I wear a black dress anymore.
Yeah.
I like to switch it up, but I want to wear something that I feel good in, as opposed to what some stylist is saying, oh, you need to wear this.
You need to wear.
I'm not, I don't care anymore about wearing what's on trend, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, because I did take a big, I was like, oh, wow, I love this. It feels so fun. I want to wear this dress.
It's awesome. I'm re-wearing dresses again.
Yeah. Well,
because they're so expensive.
Yeah, my friends and I share dresses.
Oh my God.
And and they've done.
Put me in the mix.
Let's do it, Katee.
Yeah, put me in the mix. Because Trisha and I do it too, but there's only a certain number of stuff that she and I have that we can share.
Yeah.
Because she's 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I am 5'5".
Yeah. Well, I'm 5'1". So usually everything's a little bit long on me. So it would be perfect on you.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
All right, we're doing it. We're doing it.
This has been great.
Aww.
This has been,
Katee,
this has been wonderful.
It's so wonderful.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hindsight. I am still Katee Sackhoff, and I am joined by my producer, Jeph. Hi, Jeph Porter.
Hi, Katee. How are you?
I'm good. I like your shirt. It reminds me of a pair of like fuzzy jammies that Jenny used to have.
Yeah, it's kind of LA cold right now, so I'm breaking out the flannel.
It was cold while I was there.
Yeah, we just hung out in LA.
It's true. We did.
Yeah. Rather than hanging out over Zoom, we hung out in person.
So, Jeph, that was probably the best burger I've ever had in my life.
That's true. It's a great burger. We went to a place here by our studio that has a phenomenal burger. One of the best burgers I've had in LA. And I've used to, being from Chicago, I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder about burgers because there's some incredible burgers in Chicago. And I never was able to. Oh, yeah.
But like what kind of burgers?
Just like straight up hamburgers.
But like you say that. But like, what do you mean? Like a burger with a squishy bun, like a White Castle, like a small burger with like very limited toppings? Or are you talking like a burger steakhouse, like chop burger with bacon and all that shit?
A little bit of both. I'll tell you, Chicago doesn't do like smash burgers. That's more of I feel like that's more of a thing I've run into in LA than there. But it's really like classic diner style burgers. Like there's a place called Small Cheval in Chicago that everyone should check out if they go there. It's an incredible burger. And there used to be a place called Mini Mott. It's this kind of thing in Chicago where like more high-end restaurants will take like a popular item like their burger and make a small spin-off restaurant that just serves the burger.
So there is a restaurant here in Portland called Les Pigeons. And they have a place next door called Conrad. Shit. Anyway, they've done the exact same thing where they have like a restaurant that I think is got a Michelin star chef. Anyway, I'm speaking out of tour school here. I should look this up. But they have a restaurant right next door that has like amazing burgers. Not as good as the High Low Bar, though. That is by far the best burger I've ever had in my life.
The High Low in Atwater Village here in LA. Very good burger. I mean, cool like bar, too.
I'm still tasting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I liked about that bar, Jeph? They had non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. I mean, that's an LA thing. There's lots of sober people in LA.
It is, but I went to a sushi restaurant with the girls one night, and they had a non-alcoholic Sapporo Japanese beer.
Yeah.
And then I went to a sushi restaurant the next night with a director that I know. No alcoholic beer on the menu, so I drank wine.
Right.
I mean, I'm not I'm not sober. I just like, I like to have one drink while I'm out and then not drink again, for various reasons. But I like that non-alcoholic beers are becoming a thing. Do you want to know what the best non-alcoholic beer is?
Yes.
I think we've talked about this. Tom Holland started a beer company.
The actor Tom Holland.
Barrow. Actor Tom Holland. Barrow. B-E-R-O.
Barrow.
By far the best non-alcoholic beer I've ever tasted in my life. And they've got 3 different beers, like a wheat, an IPA, and like a pale ale. And it's so good that we took some to my dad's house or my parents' house. And my dad was like, I could drink this every night. And I was like, yeah, it's really good.
Something about the taste of a beer.
There's something about the taste of a beer. Sometimes I like to have one in the afternoon, especially if I've just mowed the lawn. But sometimes I don't want to be tired, not like Bud Light does much, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't drink beer at all anymore. I haven't drank a beer in like almost a decade at this point, non-alcoholic or alcoholic, just something about the wheat content or something. I don't know. I'm not gluten intolerant, but it does mess with me in a way that I just feel much better when I don't drink it. Yeah.
I mean, I feel much better when I don't drink wine too. That ship is not sailing anytime soon. Well, no, I'm drinking a little bit less. The Surgeon General, not that we didn't know this, but the Surgeon General did come out and say that alcohol is now considered a carcinogen, which basically means that it does cause cancer.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things, you guys, where, some people who smoke don't get cancer. Some people who smoke do. Some people never smoke in their, you know what I mean? Like it just,
sure.
You don't know. So if you could limit your alcohol consumption, why not?
Yeah, why not?
That's how I feel.
That's a really great transition into this conversation with Rachel, because you guys spent a fair amount of time talking about how you didn't know certain facts and that we were going to do some fact checking in the hindsight. So I just want to make good on a few of those real quick.
Because Rachel and I were both nuts.
Yeah, well, you talk about how you have mom brain, baby brain, whatever they call it. You're just, I wish I had that excuse myself, but I just can't remember anything. And I have no excuse other than I'm old. I don't know. One thing that you talked a lot about was smoking and how, when you were younger, you were a chain smoker until you were hypnotized out of it by Carrie Gaynor. Was that the name?
Well, no, he's not a doctor, but Carrie Gaynor. Yeah, and I sent the information to Rachel.
Great. You have mentioned that menthol cigarettes have glass in them. I just wanted to...
Did I mention that?
You did say that. You said
I've
menthol...
always thought that.
Yeah, but it's not true. They don't have glass in them. But that is not to say that they are good for you.
No, of course not. Of course not. It's sort of
they just don't have glass in them.
It's sort of like removing red number 3 from your Fruit Loops. Are they healthy for you without the red number 3, Jeph? No.
No.
So they were
never healthy. Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to say, when I was growing up, people would smoke clove cigarettes a lot. Do you remember those?
Yes.
They would say those had fiberglass in them, but I think that's just like an urban legend that
sounds like something that would sort of start the urban myth. If you smoke on a movie set, and you're not a smoker, I don't know what it is anymore. I haven't played a character that smoked for so long, but it used to be that you couldn't smoke a real cigarette on set. Like it was like not allowed. So they gave you these like fake cigarettes that actually burned that you could inhale, and they were just like herbs and shit. Oh my God, they tasted so bad. So bad. Like, I don't know why. I just let someone smoke a real cigarette. Any more fact checks for Rachel and I?
Yeah, the big one was, so Lucifer began airing January 25th, 2016.
There you go.
It ended on September 10th, 2021. So it was a little bit after COVID, like towards the tail end of 2021. I think by that point, everybody was kind of
I had asked
vaccines.
Trisha about this, and she had said that she wasn't in that season that much. So I don't think she shot toward the end of it, was what she was saying.
Right. So it felt like she ended during COVID. And then it was 6 seasons.
Okay. What did we think it was?
You didn't know. I think you said 5 or 6, but it wasn't. It was 6 seasons.
Yeah.
And then the only other fact check I had, which I don't know if you remember, but you mentioned that you dated Rick.
Yeah.
Do you remember when?
No.
Oh, okay, so we'll follow up on that fact check.
I don't know how I met. I have no idea. I can't tell you.
It's been a long time.
It's been
24
years. 23 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
a long time.
Well,
anyway.
It's fine.
Anywho, enough of that.
Well, one other thing I wanted to do, because you mentioned that you've never seen Winnebago Man. Do you know what Winnebago Man is?
No.
Katee, this is one of the biggest viral videos of the last 20 years. Here, I'll show it to you.
What is Winnebago Man?
The Winnebago Concepts and Engineering Departments have developed a multifunctional bathroom. Privacy, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. I wonder what the fuck the real dialogue is. What the fuck is this thing? All of the windshield, for fuck's sake. Oh, fuck. What the fuck did I say? That didn't sound for shit, did it? And here, under the hood, we've stored something that'll really come in handy if it doesn't fall out and break my leg. What we're doing is we're building a fucking industrial film, trying to give these guys everything they can get. I mean, that's it. Fuck it. I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. We suppose we open...
This is like me when I forget dialogue on set.
Gotta do it again, right now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. 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 Oh, fuck. Shit. Tony, do me a favor, will you please? Will you? Will you do me a kindness?
Leave.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be walking in and out if you're going to fuck up and I got to come back.
I don't make any difference to me at this juncture. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tony. Don't slam the fucking door. No more. Listen, I've got to give a clue here now. I don't want any more bullshit anytime during the day from anyone. That includes me. It's going to be very hot, going to be very uncomfortable for everybody. Want anybody yelling? We get anybody yelling around here anymore today, and then the shit is going to hit the fan. And they fit the diverse needs.
It keeps going?
Oh, yeah, there's 8 minutes of that almost.
So one of the worst things on a movie set, on a TV set, whatever, you know what I mean, is when you can't remember your dialogue, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
Because the more times you attempt it and it doesn't work and your mouth trips on your tongue and your mouth is not keeping up with your brain.
Yeah.
The angrier and the worse it gets. It's a spiral down to hell. Yeah. I mean, there was this one day on set with Carl Weathers. God love him. And he had one of those moments where every time he opened his mouth, it wouldn't come out. And he was beside himself. He was like,
oh my God.
And we were all like, just like support, just like, we're here for you, man. And it was just because you've all been there where your brain just doesn't want to work that day. And it was,
Yeah. What is amazing about this is that, here, I'll show you this. So years later after that.
All right, here we go. The Winnebago Concepts and Engineering Departments have developed a multifunctional bathroom. Privacy, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. I'm gonna slate this fucker. Fuck. shit, you big dumb son of a... I don't want any more bullshit from anyone. That includes me.
I love this clip. I watch it like every time I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, I've seen this like hundreds of times. This guy's a legend.
Can't fucking make my mind work.
Jack Rebney would be the holy grail of stars to meet from these videos. We could never find him, so we just assumed he was gone.
You start to think, well, who is this guy? What happened to him?
That's weird. There's no property, there's no cars, there's no voter registration.
What does that mean?
You don't want anybody to really know who you are and what you're about.
This is Jack Rebney. It's inconceivable to me that you would have any interest in this, but if you want to talk, I'm interested.
Oh my God, is this a documentary?
I'm known as the ugliest man on earth. Accoutrement that you will need. Accoutrement? What is that shit?
Jack's always wanted an audience. Just don't think that you're taking advantage of this group of people that you can talk to.
I have no relationship with YouTube. The only thing it will come to is, oh, this guy's been fucking crazy all his life.
It's such a great documentary.
Action Jack.
How's your audio? Is everything all right there?
Security guard right there.
Call the police now. Get the Gestapo. Want to talk about me?
Yeah.
I'm very old. I'm very crotchety. What else is new?
If you don't like it, pack up. Get the fuck out.
Here we go. Buckle up. Oh, I'm getting chills just watching this.
Me too.
You believe any of that shit? Get out of here, you fucking flies.
I'm sorry. So I almost cried watching that. How weird is that? Such a mom.
You should watch it. It's so good.
It's so funny. There's this book that that we got at the library for Jenny called Everybody Loves You, Mr. Hatch. And I forgot his name. We read it to Jenny one time and I was like, everybody loves you, Mr. What's his name? Hatch. And I was like, he's got a memory like a steel trap. It's the weirdest thing. But it's
unlike you and Rachel.
Unlike me. It's about this, it's a Valentine's book, but it's about this old man who does the exact same thing every day. He has no friends. He doesn't go outside of his comfort zone. He does literally regimented, same thing every day. An older man.
Yeah.
And on Valentine's Day, the mailman brings him a massive box of chocolates that says, somebody loves you.
Oh.
And it changes his life.
Wow.
And he starts putting himself out there and making friends and doing favors for people because he doesn't know who sent him the box of chocolates. And it's the most beautiful thing. And it completely reforms this man's life. He's got so many friends and he babysits for people. And he's just like, everyone loves him. And then the mailman comes one day and he says it was a mistake. It wasn't for you. And so Mr. Hatch gives back the box, but all the chocolate is gone. And he gives back I don't know if he gives back the note or that somebody loves you or if he keeps that. I don't remember. And the next day he goes back to work and he does his old routine again because he realizes that somebody didn't love him. And the mailman lets everyone know what happened. And one day there's a knock on his door and the entire town is out there. And it says, somebody loves you, Mr. Hatch. I'm like dying.
I need to make that into a Pixar movie.
Because he put himself out there and was a guy that people would love. Like he was doing acts of service for people and he was talking with people and he was spending his time with other people and giving of his time to other people.
Anything else with Rachel?
I just want to know what 2 toilets and a shower is.
So there were 2 things that you guys talked about that I thought would make great either band names or maybe even just titles for this episode. One of them was 2 toilets and a shower because she mentioned that growing up she had in her house they only had 2 toilets and a shower and they had to share everything and they didn't want to use the hot water, which I remember that being a thing when I was, all the houses I grew up in, it wasn't until I was in high school that we lived in a house that had 2 showers.
Yeah.
So we were always sharing.
I mean, when I was little, we grew up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in a 2-bedroom house, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved into a bigger house and my brother and I had a huge bathroom and we were like,
yeah, what a luxury, right?
Yeah.
And then the other one was Minnie Van Hurst, because she tells the story about her father dying and them trying to get the body out of the house, and how her and her brother are just laughing throughout it as a coping mechanism, and how they can't get the gurney in the house, so they have to carry him. And her husband at the time was like losing it, crying, and the two of them are just laughing their ass off. And the funeral home showed up in a minivan that was gonna carry the body.
Do you this reminds me of while I was home in LA, or back in LA, not home in LA. God, slip of the tongue. Do you laugh in uncomfortable situations, Jeph?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Big time.
When someone gets severely hurt, like as long as they're not dead.
One of the funniest things in the world is when someone falls over.
So Trisha Helfer is notorious for laughing when people hurt themselves. I mean, like, really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Our friend Sharn, like one of our best girlfriends, we were on a hike in Mexico like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And Sharn, I don't know what happened, but she lost her footing. And there was like a cliff.
I'm already laughing.
There's a cliff to the right side.
Oh, God.
But like,
please tell me this story ends
it's only like 5 feet down, but it's like, there's rocks down there. Like had she missed the log, it could have ended really badly.
She would have been hurt.
But instead she hit this log. And the log was almost like, like if you're going to cross a river, like a log that you could like a balance beam.
Uh-huh.
And it was probably like 8 inches, 6 inches in diameter. And in Sharn's mind, when she tells the story, she thought that she was going to magically land on that log and be like, whoa, but catch her balance. What had happened was she did not. And she hit the side of her leg so hard. She landed on it like legs straddle. Did not hit her vagina, though, because the side of her knee hit down so hard that it broke her fall. Trisha's laughing hysterically. I, on the other hand, turn into trauma mode and I'm trying to like fix the situation, but like overly so. Like it's like I'm pretending to be a fucking doctor. And Trisha's like laughing because she keeps saying that she was like a flying squirrel. Like she just reminded her of one of those flying squirrels as it was falling. And so then afterwards, we end up going back to the house and then we end up taking her to the doctor, and the doctor is a very good looking, like, man. And so I'm telling her to hit on him and she's in a lot of pain, but I also hurt my foot. So no, Sharn. And I'd also hurt my foot. So I was like, well, maybe I can look at my foot if you think she's fine. Like it was just really hysterical. It was out of control.
So you're trying to hook up your friend with the doctor.
With the doctor in Mexico because he was hot as shit.
Right.
So anyway, my point is, Sharn really fucked up her leg. She's had multiple surgeries.
Oh my God.
She had to have cadaver bone put in her leg. Like it's bad. She really fucked up her leg.
Oh my God.
And we still talk about how Trisha laughed for hours afterwards. I mean, she literally laughed. She dropped a motorcycle on me. And as soon as she found out I wasn't dead, she was laughing hysterically at me. And I was like, can you help me get the motorcycle off me, dum-dum? Then she's making me laugh. And people are like, oh my God, that girl has a motorcycle on top of her and she's laughing.
Yeah. What a badass.
But that's Trisha. So I completely identify with Rachael.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what I would probably do. We have, I think I have a lot of experience in my family of laughing through trauma already. So I feel like in those moments, it's not going to go away.
No. Well, now that we've talked about trauma, we should get into the mail sack, Jeph.
Mail sack. We're going to the mail sack. Mail sack. Why are we calling it mail sack?
Can your new chair have some kind of like a lever on it that'll let you like sink?
I would love
and then
that.
pop back up.
It's supposed to have been delivered. I don't know why it hasn't been delivered yet.
Where do people email us, Katee?
Guys, you email us at thesackhoffshow@gmail.com. And then we can shove you in our mail sack.
We'll also read comments on the YouTube. And,
we do. We like to deep dive to find our comments for the mail sack, you guys. Sometimes we pull the reviews from our Apple. So don't be a dick. At Manuel.
Or do if it's funny.
I mean, exactly. At Manuela Lonzo 9798 said, who's on board with BSG and Star Trek happening in the same universe? Just had to throw that out there.
So if this is true, because it's entirely possible, because when Galactica shows up to Earth at the end, it's Earth like tens of thousands of years before our current time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible, because Star Trek is supposed to take place in our future. So it's entirely possible that you could say that Battlestar takes place in the same universe as Star Trek.
I mean,
and if that's true, you have been in Star Trek.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Just trying to throw it out. Just trying to help you out there.
Still working at it. Coffee. This is just all about coffee, Jeph.
Yeah. We had a conversation previously about something that you'll spend money on, but that is worth the money.
Yes.
And I mentioned coffee, which prompted a few responses from people about coffee, because we had a conversation about it. And these are some of our fan responses to coffee.
Because you said that airplane coffee doesn't taste like shit.
Yeah. That's what I said.
All right. I just wanted to give people context.
Sure.
Okay. Steven says, at the risk of losing my Canadian citizenship, you don't want to lose that right now, Steven. I can't stand Tim Hortons coffee. It just tastes burnt and dirty. I avoid it at all costs. Steven, Tim Hortons coffee is literally shit water. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
I didn't know where that was going to go. I've never had it before.
Oh my God. It's disgusting. I don't understand. So here's the thing with the Timmy's coffee. Timmy's serves donuts. Yeah. Everyone's like, do you want a Timmy's? Mm-hmm. So Tim Hortons coffee is atrocious. Like literally disgusting coffee.
Mm-hmm.
People think it tastes good because like when they start the introduction of Timmy's, they're usually in high school. And you're putting so much cream and so much sugar in this crappy coffee that it just tastes like a popsicle. Like you've got so much crap in it.
Yeah.
That's the only way Tim Hortons coffee tastes good. It's like I would actually rather have 7-Eleven coffee from a convenience store than have Tim Hortons coffee. It's terrible.
7-Eleven's coffee's not bad if you know how to do it.
I agree with you because you add shit to it, right?
Well, you don't add shit to it necessarily. You got to pick the right ones.
You do have to pick the right one. Which one do you like from 7-Eleven?
I mean, honestly, I like the 7-Eleven blend.
Me too.
It's pretty solid.
They have a vanilla nut. That's not bad though.
Yeah, I've never been a big flavored coffee person, but
I'm not a big flavored coffee person either. But when I made the transition, when they took my thyroid out of not putting cream in my coffee, vanilla nut helped me through that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about Dunkin'?
You know, I shot a movie in Boston. Not in Boston. Well, I worked in Boston, but I did a movie in Worcester, Massachusetts. And
the correct way to say it.
Yeah, you got to call it Worcester.
Worcester.
And every morning we stopped at Dunkin' on the way to work, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not my choice.
Yeah. It's not bad.
All right. Kevin says, likely the reason that you're unable to tell how ass coffee tastes on an airplane is because our ability to detect flavors compromised in an airplane environment. It's why they typically serve salty snacks and way oversalt the food in what they serve when they still serve food these days. Kevin, is this fucking true?
I feel like it is true because I've also heard something similar about ginger ale on a flight. Like ginger ale is supposed to be really good for you on a flight because of something to do with I'm going to totally fuck this up. So if anybody wants to tell us about it, it's something to do with like the carbonation and the ginger and all that stuff helps with the pressurization on the plane, that because you're flying at 30,000 feet in the air in a pressurized tube.
Let's not talk about it.
It's going to do something to your body.
You'd think. I mean, there's radiation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on up there.
Yeah.
I don't doubt this, but I must have a taster's palate, because I can taste how shitty the coffee is and the food.
Yeah, I don't know. I think also the reason I like it is because I'm so often taking like early flights, and I'm not very good at sleeping on flights. I just cannot sleep in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
So I prefer to like drink the coffee and wake up so that I can like watch a movie or read a book or do something rather than feel kind of drowsy the whole time.
I agree completely. When I fly back from Europe, I stay awake the entire way back. It's the easiest way to get back on our time zone.
Yeah.
And so I consume a lot of coffee on the way back, right? Because I just pound it.
Yeah.
Like if they did drip lines and like you could like mainline coffee on a plane, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Philip says, the worst coffee I ever had was when I deployed on the USS Tripoli back in 1990. When I first started drinking coffee, it was like mud. Could you please end the show just once, his bitch puddin'? It doesn't surprise me that the U.S. military serves shit coffee.
Yeah. I think that's also pronounced Tripoli.
Oh, it is. The Tripoli.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, it does. Yeah.
And then I included that little extra thing from Philip that he sent along.
You know, when I play bitch puddin', it's really loud. It like scares people in the house. So there's no way to do it and not be super loud.
How do you think bitch pudding would end an episode? And I don't feel like it would be concise and thankful.
She would be like, what would she say? She would say something about toothpaste.
Well,
she'd call everybody faces.
Yeah.
And she would probably make a reference to somebody's tampon. And
somebody's. Whose do you think?
And then she'd probably talk about, there was an episode where she fucked her grandmother's casket.
On topic for this episode.
You guys, so on that note, we're gonna say goodbye. We're gonna say that we'll see you next Tuesday. I don't even know if I can do bitch pudding right now. And that's what's up, bitches. Bam!
Okay.